Yeah, like how hard is it to come up with like a finisher, nowadays that doesn't like make you think like, man, I'm doing the exact same thing that this other person
It's
did.
like there's so much wrestling out right now that when you think that you're thinking of something cool, then somebody's already doing it on TV. Or like, there's this guy that used to travel with us, Noken. He started doing kind of like a cult leader kind of demon gimmick, and then Aleister Black started doing it before he got released on WWE.
Yeah.
Like this to a T, almost the same exact thing.
Really?
It's not like, WWE is like, oh, who's this guy wrestling at a fair somewhere in Michigan, like,
Right.
it just happened to be coincidence.
Yeah. And that's got to happen a lot with, how much indie wrestling in every other state and everything, like.
And speaking of finishers, like before I ever even trained, I had this idea for what I wanted to do. Growing up, I'm 26, so that means I grew up with like Brock Lesnar and people like that.
Okay.
So, Brock Lesnar did an F5, fireman carry, throw him in front of him. The idea that I had was it would be the same thing, but like how Randy Orton does the RKO, I would throw them behind me and catch them the same way. And then like 3 years before I started training, I seen Rhino on NXT, and that was his finish.
But that's the thing, though, that the TKO has been around since before I was wrestling.
Right.
And I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that 7-year rule, though.
Yeah, because Jeff Brooks was doing it when I first started.
Oh, I believe it.
That
Especially
was-
a guy that size, too.
Yeah, I just imagine, just the thought process on like, okay, how you're gonna like, because you have like your basics, like you set of moves, right?
Yeah.
Like when you start, like you're actively training right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what were your? I guess I'll ask you, what were your first like 4 moves that you really grinded on, like you had to get down?
So recently it was Bulldog, and we grab the head. from
Yep,
the front.
and then you
What
run-
was it? Yeah. Neck breaker, like a swinging neck breaker. I love the swinging neck breaker. And just like clotheslines.
And clotheslines.
Yeah. I just did a body slam. Fucked my back up on it, but yeah.
Yeah, people think like after like behind the mat and all that, like these mats are like, like a fucking big old fluffy mattress.
Like a big
But the
trampoline,
first
but it's
session
not.
I came in,
but there's-
this dude's like, oh yeah, today we're gonna do Death Valley drivers, and like me and my best friend, that was our first session. We're like, we're gonna do what? And he's like, no, not you guys.
Right.
And they're like, no, we want to do it.
We wanted to do it though.
All right.
Yeah, but it's still gotta hurt though if you go
Yeah,
time
jumping.
after time after time after time, you're getting slammed on your back on this mat. That's it's got some cushion to it, but I mean,
Not enough.
not enough. Like a gym mat. Like it's cushion, but like you
Or a
fall on it,
floor.
it's still gonna fucking hurt.
They say
Yeah.
every time that you bump, which is the fall, every time you hit the mat, that's like equivalent to a 35-mile-an-hour car accident.
Right.
Every time, and you're doing that 9, 10, 12 times a match. Whereas me being old, I do it 3 to 4 now.
I mean,
Right.
I'm young, but I'm smart, so I still try to stick to like 3 to 4.
Yeah.
I'm 6'6", so I can probably get away with not doing too many.
Yeah, you should be the one murdering people.
Right.
I like bumping though. It
It-
excites me.
So you try to only make you're saying like 3 to 4 times where you take that hard bump to the ground a match,
Mm-hmm.
and like that includes sparring and stuff like that too, or whatever you're practicing. You're not going to take too many of those.
Yeah. Because
No.
eventually,
But it doesn't that involves you like as well, springing yourself back on the mat too, right?
mm-hmm.
So you could take like a softer bump if you just kind of went with it.
It's like a lot of these guys, they come in there and like they get punched in the face and they just bang hit the mat as hard as they can. Like, why? I crumble. I'll drop to a knee. If you ever been punched in real life, when do you ever fall flat on your back?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or would
The
you
guy's
stump?
2 feet taller than you and 200 pounds heavier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, but you're not gonna fly backwards.
Yeah, like the way that they're
Exactly.
doing it.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna punch them like say you give them a hook or something, and then they go flat
Yeah.
on their back.
If you punch me in the face, I'll drop to a knee or like, oh shit,
Stumble
walk away
back.
from you. Yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna right on my back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Would you think that would add into like just being like corny? Would you think
I think it's corny. Like when
the
guys,
corniness factor?
because it's not believable to me.
No, yeah.
If somebody gets punched and they just fly backwards onto their back like perfectly, you know, like fights are supposed to be gritty. When have
Yeah.
you seen a perfect fight? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
if I get punched in the face, you know, it's like it's gonna hurt, but I'm not gonna like bang on my back unless, like you said, it's some big meathead.
Yeah.
Right.